Well, hello there. Nice to see you here. This is my other channel, American English Brent 2, I think it's called. Well, I'm getting ready for a larger lesson on early voting where we will watch a news clip and then I will talk about all of the difficult vocabulary. But I wanted to practice some of that for you, maybe give you a little taste of what this early voting lesson looks like. But the first thing, it can be very tough, this word cast. There are probably 6, 7 different ways we use it. But when we talk about voting, we use it as a verb, and it means to officially place your vote in an election. And for each of these, if you haven't seen one of these lessons before, I have a picture that will hopefully help you improve your English with that term. And then I'll have an official definition, and then I will use that word or term in a sentence. So the sentence for cast is many Americans have already cast their votes through early voting. Yeah, election day is November 5th, all around the nation, the United States. But in my state, and some other states as well, they allow what's called early voting. So you don't have to go to the polls. I'm not sure if that's one of our words a little later, but the polls is where people will vote. But you can do that early in my state. So some people have already cast their vote and they don't have to worry about standing in the long lines on election day, November 5th. So cast can also be like this, like you broke they might have broken their ankle there. So they might have had to have worn a cast for a few weeks to let that bone heal. Another term you might hear when talking about voting or early voting is ballot. And we will probably use the English phrasal verb fill out. You might fill out a ballot when you go to the polls. And that just means a form or piece of paper used to record a vote or cast a vote. In the picture, it's a pretty typical looking ballot. When I go vote on November 5th, my ballot will probably look very similar to that. They give you a thick black, I actually have one, black marker, and then you just fill in the spaces next to the candidate you like. So let's look at a sentence using ballot. Voters use a ballot to choose their preferred candidate in the election. Shattering Records is next. Shattering Records. Maybe we should first talk about what a record is. It's not the kind that you play music with, but it means like the best or fastest something has ever been done. And when you start breaking records, or you start shattering records, take a look down at the definition. It means to break previous achievements or numbers by a large amount. So not just breaking, let's say the longest English lesson ever for a teacher would be 24 hours. Maybe that person taught English for 24 hours. That is the record. Nobody has taught longer. Well, what if another person comes, maybe the next year, and they do it for 48 hours, 48 hours of teaching? Well, that would shatter that record. I also have in this picture a thermometer. Not easy to say, right? Thermometer. And almost every summer now, because the world is getting so hot, we are shattering heat records, like record-breaking heat you might hear. Right now, when I woke up this morning, I'm at my school right now, but you probably can't tell because I have a virtual background of somebody making hay, because I have an English lesson coming out about yard work, and I taught the idiom make hay while the sun shines. So tune into that English lesson on this channel, working outside doing yard work. Whole English lesson on that. But shattering records, I think that's what we were talking about. That almost happens every summer because things are getting warmer. But let's talk about what it means when we talk voting. Early voting this year is shattering records across many states. In the news clip that we'll watch on the other channel, they talk about how people are just going to the polls in record numbers to cast their vote. I think it's going to be a very popular election. Trump, Harris, who knows who is going to win. All right, last one here. Sneeze. During the news clip, somebody actually sneezes. Nobody says the word sneeze, but I wanted to talk about what a sneeze is. You can see in the picture that woman, she's blowing her nose. We would say that she is blowing her nose, but it is possible that she just had a sneezing fit. That might be a new English term for you. A sneezing fit is when you sneeze like 4, 5, 6 times in a row. That has happened to me sometimes, especially during allergy season. Oh no, the lights went off. We need the lights back on. If I don't move around in my classroom for like 10 minutes, the lights will shut off. It's a good way to save energy. But sneeze, it's the sudden expulsion of air from the nose and mouth, usually due to irritation in the nasal passage. So nasal is the adjective we can use for nose. So some kind of irritation, it's bugging you, like your nose itches and your body just says, hey, there's something in this nose that maybe shouldn't be there. And that's when you'll sneeze. You probably have a term for that in your own language. If you want to, leave it in the comments section. How do you say sneeze in your first language? I would love to hear what your first language is too. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I will see you really soon with another English lesson.